Welcome to another episode of The Scoop. Mr. Devin could not be here today, as everyone's well aware. He's getting ready to go on his big trip to Jamaica for a year. Good luck on your trip. I'm sure I'll see you before you leave, Devin, so don't think that this is like my last chance to tell him goodbye or something. But the show must go on. Tonight, I am joined by the great Tim Lattie.
How y'all doing? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing out there?
So, Tim, it's been a couple months since I had you here. I know that you have been feverishly busy with several projects going on. I think right when I had you on last was when issue 4 was either just dropping or it was about to drop.
Yeah, I
You
wonder.
were about a month. You were about a month out from going to
Roswell?
Roswell.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, no, lots happened since then. So from that point, well, obviously we went to Roswell. I think it was before Roswell when we went. And that ended up being a really great trip, man. That was actually awesome. I drove out there, which was a long drive, seeing all of Texas. I think it was like
getting
14.
to see all the desert.
Man, it was 14 hours. It was a long drive. I stayed in Abilene both times. Abilene, Texas. I got a hotel room there. But the book is all about, obviously, the first story arc's all about Roswell and them going there. And
Right.
It's one of those things. Sometimes you have those things in life where things like kind of play out in a funny way. And just the fact that it was like the 70th anniversary and I'm finishing up issue 4, they're about to leave Roswell. It was like, you got to do it. And it kind of became like that carrot in front of the donkey, you know, like it was the thing that drove me to get it done within that time period. And I promise you, it was close, man. I'm talking about like I'm getting the books delivered days before I walk out the door. I mean, it was close call.
Yeah, I was actually there when you received
That's
the books.
right, dude.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, oh, man.
I happened to go to Sports Beat.
Sports Beat, dude.
And you happened to be there on that same day. And you were like, oh, I got these boxes in the mail today. I'm pretty sure that it's episode 4.
Yeah, man. Dude, I can't even believe that. Dude, I'm so scatterbrained, bro. Like I'm so focused on like what I'm doing tomorrow, what I'm doing. I gotta draw another page tonight when I leave here. Yeah, that's right, dude. And how cool was that, dude? So you were there, and my buddy Mole Craig. I mean, we literally opened the box at Sports Beat, man. We got a couple shots of Jameson to celebrate. You know, it'd been a long journey for the past 4 or 5 years and Pickle Scoop, the Scoop had been there from like day 1 with the Kickstarter and stuff like that. Like y'all were really, really big time behind that, and never forgot that, never will, or the other 202 people. So that was like a cool moment to like open that. I was glad you were there for it. So yeah, dude, y'all got you and Mole got the first 2 comics.
That's right,
you know,
the very
like
first
seriously.
2.
Yeah, I mean we're pulling the plastic off the books and everything. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot about that. I mean, I'm pretty sure I got boozed up that night anyway, so that might have been a factor. So yeah, I went to Roswell, and not a big city, but this is like their Mardi Gras. You know, this is their thing every year. So,
right, it's their big festival.
Absolutely. People couldn't have been nicer. There were a bunch of like skateboarders. There was like a skate shop behind me, so I gave all the kids shirts for put Lattie Ink stickers on all their skateboards and stuff like that. Got to see the parade. They have like a light parade that goes around at night on Saturday night, and dude, sold out of books, man. Like around, I think, Saturday afternoon or Sunday. Honestly, I think I sold out of books Saturday. So I got there Friday, and then Saturday morning, I started only selling them as sets. I saw you only could buy like 1, 2, 3, or 4, or whatever. I was just kind of doing it in that fashion. And yeah, midway through Saturday, I kind of looked at my neighbor, this awesome guy, man. He was so cool. Him and his family were wonderful. They were seriously wonderful. The little girls were like, I'd give them little art tips and little drawing instructions and stuff like that. And I looked at him, I'm like, dude, I was like, I think I'm going to sell out of comics, man. And sure enough, I did, man, by the afternoon. So I went and grabbed myself a couple alien beers and some alien craft beer or whatever. And went and enjoyed the parade, man, watched the light parade. And it's all the skateboarders I'd been hanging around with. They were in the light parade, riding their skateboards down the way. So really, really cool event, man. It was, I'm glad I went. I would go again. I would go to Roswell again. It was a great place. It was the hottest place I've ever been in my life, too. It was like, without question, the hottest place I've ever been. It was so hot in the desert.
So while we're talking about Roswell, episode 4 or issue 4 was the end of that arc.
Right. So they're out of Roswell. I don't think we're going back to Roswell. Like, spoiler alert.
So where's that leave the Night Stars going from here?
So I'm already writing volume 2. I started. The good thing about that long trip to Roswell, man, I think it was like something like 14 hours. Okay, so both ways. And then I've been on a couple other trips. It gave me time to kind of work out some of the details that are going into these books. And like, just, you have like a basic overall idea of what the story is going to be. But then there's like, how do we get from A to B? How do we get from here to here to here? So I spent a lot of time doing that. So without giving too much away, I'm not going to say, I'll tell you off screen, like some of the stuff that's going to be in. And I'm always fighting this. I'm always fighting like telling people stuff that's going on, but you got to like hold yourself back because I got some cool scenes in it and some cool moments. But we're going to go straight into Amelia Earhart. Like, I mean, first 2 panels, it's going to be Amelia Earhart gets her plane knocked out the sky. And that's going to start that story. So now that we've laid the foundation. And so you always hear about that with like houses and stuff. You know, you want a good foundation, then you can build up and add all the rooms and, you know, decorate and everything like that. We got our foundation. We know who Night Stars are. We know the 3 main characters are. We kind of have a grasp on the ins and outs of their suits and stuff like that. You know, you kind of have a vibe for it a little bit now.
Yeah, so, you have a little bit more of the backstory.
Right. So now let's get weird. You know, like now let's get into like the fun stuff, like the Yeti, Amelia Earhart, whatever, vampires, pirates. Like now I can get weird. Now I can just go for it. So that's where we're at with that. Also, we should be in Barnes and Nobles by the end of the year, man. So that's the game plan. You should be able to at least buy Night Stars for Christmas at Barnes and Nobles.
Like the hardback copy, or
it's not gonna be hard. It's gonna be a trade paperback. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna go hardback at first, even though that was something I was thinking about today, is maybe we should go like a hard copy, like a hardcover, like they do with like children's books and stuff. But I think it'll be a soft cover originally. And if I can pull it off, I'm going to try to sneak those first 2 pages in the back of the book. So you get like a sneak preview of volume 2 with the Amelia Earhart. Because everything's written for the most part. I just got to sit down with it. Yeah. So Barnes & Nobles is next. That was a lot of the stuff that we went through this week. So this is like very current, very, very current. Probably before I went to Lafayette, or maybe it was when I got back. But yeah, we're getting the ball rolling on that, which was, you just got to go through so many processes to get it. You can get on Barnes & Nobles on the website. Right. Not that hard. To get in the store is a little bit different. So there's a couple things planned. I think we're going to have a pre-order where you're going to be able to get it for a discount if you order from us early, a pre-sale, and a couple little like benefits that we're going to do when the time comes. But we're looking at a couple months. I just got to catch up on Plants vs. Zombies. Then I can sit down and finish.
Yeah, I was going to get into Plants vs. Zombies and a lot of other projects that, I mean, every time that I talk to you, you're like, oh, I'm working on this project. Wait, that's a totally different project from what you were working on like a few weeks ago. And you're like, yeah, it's as I'm finishing up one issue of one, I'm jumping on to another one for a different company. You've had, over the past few weeks from when I've talked with you, you've had WWE, Plants vs. Zombies, Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, we talked about Night Stars just finishing up in June-ish. So
Bunch of Wildcat.
Yeah, Wildcat you've been working a lot with. So
that's a nice plate, man. That's a nice serving. So yeah, and there's other stuff going on too in the background, but I don't want to talk about it or jinx it quite yet until stuff's official. But and it's funny, man. It always feels like it comes at this time of year, you know, like right around New York Comic Con or something like that. Things start heating up. It's like the summer, you know, you're kind of sitting in limbo, and then all of a sudden you get everything at once. It's crazy. So yeah, man, I've been doing a bunch of WWE, a bunch of all kinds of stuff, which is, look, and I had this moment. I was in Lafayette this past 2 weekends
weeks
ago.
ago, yeah.
And I was sitting there at the convention, ABC convention. If you haven't been to one of those, I highly recommend it. They're without question the best like staff I've been around from all the conventions, honestly. They were awesome. Their staff was from top to bottom was the nicest, coolest, most genuine people. It was great. So ABC conventions, highly recommend it. I just had this like surreal moment. I was sitting there and you signed, I signed a couple Ghostbuster books. But it was more like little kids would come around and be into like the Plants vs. Zombies, dude. And it was just like a good, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but one of those moments. Does that make sense? You know, like you're kind of like, wow, I'm actually doing this. You know, like this is actually happening. You're sitting here working on these books, and I don't know. It's a good feeling. It was a good moment, real cool moment. So yeah, man.
So can we talk a little bit about each of the comic books?
Yeah.
You know, without giving away,
Right.
obviously, like, oh, Venkman dies at the end of episode 3.
No,
you know,
Venkman makes it, but
you know,
yeah.
but obviously,
Yeah, and it's funny, like, when you get emails from a lot of them, like, boom, they'll have a disclaimer at the bottom of the email saying whatever is said here is not, you know, it's copyright. You can't talk about
Right.
it. Almost like an NDA, basically, a non-disclosure agreement. So, yeah, man, Plants vs. Zombies, I just started that about 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. So we got the cover done, and I'm on page, when I leave, I just finished page 6 right before I came over here. I'll be going into page 7 of 72, something around there. So I'm locked down on Plants vs. Zombies for a while. I don't think I can say what it's about yet.
but this is your second or third.
This is my second
series
Plants vs.
with them,
Zombies.
yeah.
Yeah. Which I love. And I didn't know. So I'm on a mission this time with Plants vs. Zombies, dude, because last time I don't think I grasped everything what it was. And now I've had a year to kind of sit back with it. I saw the mistakes I made in the last book, like artistically. Nobody probably noticed them, but I noticed them. You know what I mean? I'm competitive. They sent me the video game, so that was like my homework one night. How cool is that, man? So they sent me.
You actually get paid to play a video game.
Well, they didn't pay me to do it, but they sent me a free video game,
yeah.
and they were like, "Play the game, dude." So yeah, man, I got my ass handed to me in multiplayer for a weekend. I'm a little better now. I can dish it out pretty well, and just spent more time with it. So I came in like gangbusters, man. I'm coming in swinging for this. I'm gonna do a really, really good job on this Plants vs. Zombies book. I'm very focused on it. Just because it's such a cool series, and like I said, I just want to top what the last book was, do a better job with it. So yeah, first 6 pages look pretty good, pretty solid.
Let's see, WWE. I know you've sent me a couple teaser pictures.
Right, because you're in them.
Yes.
All right. WWE is a little bit different. So last year, around the same time, man, it's so crazy. So I was doing Night Stars issue 3, getting ready for New York Comic Con.
Right.
I knew I was going to be doing Plants vs. Zombies, so I'd already signed the contract with that. I'm getting Ghostbusters, so I'm doing all that Ghostbusters stuff at the same time. And on top of that, WWE wasn't even out yet. So Boom had just gotten the property, and they're looking for artists on the book. And they sent me an email. They were like, "Hey, would you want to try out for this?" So I'm doing WWE samples all at the same time, dude. All at the same time. All this stuff is going on. But I didn't get it. I didn't get on the WWE, which was probably a blessing in disguise at the end of the day, because that would have just been
Too much.
dude. It was. Look, man. At the end of last year, for the last few months, that's all I did day and night was draw, man. All I did was sit there and draw, man. It was wild. It was good. You know, it was like a good, I don't know, like crash course.
I'm sure that your hand wanted to fall off. But,
I swear to y'all, I wear a wristband. My wrist hurts now from drawing, dude. I gotta like that. If you watch me, I'm actually like stretching it out and stuff like that. Yeah, dude. Yeah. No, you do need a break. That's all I did. It was a hell of a run, man. Hell of a run. I think I did like 12 or 13 pages, I think, in 3 days at one point. I think I did a Ghostbuster cover and then inked like 10 Plants vs. Zombies pages in 3 days. Or something insane, man. It was really wild. So, yeah, there was a hell of a run. But come back, jump forward. They hit me up with an email. They're like, "Hey, you want to work on some WWE pages?" I'm like,
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, no, I wanted this last year, so let's do it. So it's not a full book, but I'm filling in on stuff. And what we're doing a little bit now, so we did 7, filled in on 7, did a nice chunk of pages, almost half the issue on 8. And then I didn't do any on 9, and then I did a bunch of, I think 7 pages on 10 again, which is, for a 20-page story.
We're looking at just about half of it.
Just
a
almost.
third of it.
And this time around, instead of, I did it was like it's almost like a flashback within the story. So it makes a little bit more sense to have a different artist doing that. Can't say what it is, but again, 2 people in the crowd, Mole Craig and Pickle Scoop, are floating around, man. So they're just benefiting off everything I do, man. I'm just hooking these people up, dude, these 2 guys. But I was like, man, who am I going to throw in here? And I don't know if Maggio wants to be in it or not, or how he'd feel about it. So I kind of snuck a guy that kind of looks like Maggio in there, but I'll get him in later on. But yeah, Mole Craig and Pickle are
definitely in there.
Very clearly in the book. Yeah,
Yes.
Not even debatable. I think you even have a pickle on your shirt again. So yeah, man. So that was cool, and it's a lot of Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins. That's mostly who we're dealing with in these books. But it's cool, man. No, I'm glad to have that on the resume for sure.
Well, right on the same target with it, you got Wildcat.
Yeah, man.
Recently, you did
Flex Rate.
you did the Soko print.
That's my buddy, man. Socorro's my man.
Of him and Kojak, and then I think earlier this week, Wildcat released the cover for the Halloween.
Yeah, so their 5th annual Halloween Spooktacular, which I did. We did that months ago. I'd been done that, but I couldn't share it for a few months, so I was chomping at the bits, and I kept telling my buddies I had it. I was like, I got it. I might have showed people on my phone, but I didn't really post anything. And yeah, they posted it the other day, so that was, again, just like ABC conventions, I'm going to say the same thing about Wildcat. Awesome people, awesome wrestlers, awesome dudes, awesome organization. They put out a great product, and for the price of a ticket, well worth 3 hours or whatever a show is.
Yeah, I had it pop up
wearing a Wildcat shirt right now, dude. I love Pump Patrol, man. Johnny Flex is my buddy.
I had come up on my Facebook feed this week that I've been friends with Danny Flamingo for a year.
Everything about Wildcat is great except Danny Flamingo. He's 100% genuine asshole in the ring and outside of the ring. That's a fact. That's science. So yeah. Everything else about Wildcat is great, though. They put on a great product.
Yeah, we've been going for the past couple months. In fact, we have
man.
tickets for the upcoming Revolution Rumble.
Yeah.
So, it's
awesome,
a good
dude.
product. And for 10, maybe $20, to get floor tickets, it was $20. Well worth it.
Yeah, seriously. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, it's just good. It really is, man. It's nice homegrown. It's always in Metairie. It's always at like Meisler or Grace King, our alma mater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't say enough about Wildcat, dude. And funny, Danny Flamingo used to tell me about it all the time. When he first started doing it, he'd come around to the comic shop because he's into comics too. So that's where I know him from. And he'd be like, yeah, dude, I'm doing a wrestling match. Like, why don't you buy a ticket? I'm like, dude, nah, bro. Like, I'm not buying this dinky. Like, no chance, man. And then eventually I finally went to a show and I was just like, I wish I had been there from the beginning.
Right.
Like, it's so awesome. It's so cool. Yeah, they rock, man. Yeah, so those are probably my favorites. Danny Flamingo, Socorro, that whole crew. Pump Patrol is friggin' hilarious. Yeah. They're awesome, dude. So Wildcat is great. And then so I was very just cool to be part of something. Like if you're a fan of something and you get to work on it, like Ghostbusters, like you're a fan of that and you get to work on it. Wildcat was just very similar. Like, man, I don't know, you get bragging rights a little bit. You tell your buddies like, yeah, I know the Wildcat guys. I know those guys.
I'm drawing for them.
Right. So they're awesome, man.
Let's see. Superbud. Is there any word on Superbud?
No. They were just in Baltimore last weekend for the Comic-Con. I would do another issue. We're just kind of in limbo right now. It's so tricky to get a book published, and anybody that's ever done it knows what that's like and knows what that process is like. But no, man, if you haven't read Superbud, it's on Comixology.
Yeah, I think
It's
there's
funny,
two
dude.
episodes out
Yeah,
now?
there's two. There's two, man. And yeah, there was a scene in Plants vs. Zombies last year. There was a scene that every time I see it in the book, I crack up laughing. I'm not even joking, man. It's just it's a stupid scene, but he keeps like tripping over stuff and he throws a baseball through the window. But I thought it was like the funniest thing in the world. But Superbud is past that level. Superbud's very, very funny. I'd be reading the script and I'd be laughing like this is so ridiculous. It's like Clerks, like a Kevin Smith movie meets like a superhero film or something like that.
Literally imagine a superhero that is Blunt Man and Chronic.
Right.
And
But lazier.
Right. But lazier.
No, it's great. Superbud's awesome. And and again, fortunate enough to work with cool people. Those dudes are awesome. Mike and Tim are super, super cool.
Let's see.
My Superbuds.
We briefly mentioned Ghostbusters. So do you have any more Ghostbusters stuff?
No, not at the moment. They
horizon?
went into Ghostbusters Ninja Turtles 2, so they're doing that one. I'm working on something outside of IDW for Ghostbusters, like a big project. When I have once I kind of get my bearings in Plants vs. Zombies, and I'm working on some pitches because I have some stories that I want to get more into writing. So I have some stories that I want to start pitching, like either as a backup or as like one shots or single issues. But I'm still at IDW, and there's talk about some different projects, but nothing, no contracts or nothing like that right now. Look, dude, in comics, you're almost like campaigning all the time.
Right.
You know, you're always knocking on the door. Hey, you're knocking on the door, your editors, emailing them and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, saying, hey, I like this intellectual property. What do I need to do to get in on that? Or
Right.
can I try out for it? Or
And for a younger artist, I got a buddy of mine that sends emails in, and he got frustrated the other day because he didn't get a response. I don't get, not that I'm anybody, but I don't get response. I've worked with them, and I don't get responses every now and again. You know, like they are busy over there, and they're inundated with emails. So for a young artist that's watching, or even if you're in another medium or another, you know, if you're a musician or something like that, be polite and keep knocking on the door. Better story or better example of that, dude, the guy that's my editor on Plants vs. Zombies, I got his information probably right after Katrina in Chicago or maybe in Texas years and years ago. And when we started working on Plants vs. Zombies, he went through the email thread. We were talking on the phone. He was like, dude, you know how long you've been emailing me? I was like, nah. I was like, what? I know it's been a while. You know, I just always like randomly send him artwork. 8 years, dude.
yeah,
Eight. Think about that, man. 8
years you've been
bro.
hounding this guy, being like, hey, got a job?
And never. I think a big part of it was never got an attitude. Never. I couldn't tell you. He probably responded. He definitely responded less than he did respond. I promise you that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Next thing you know, dude, and now good standings with Plants vs. Zombies. You know, they tag me and stuff on Twitter all the time. Dark Horse tags me and stuff. Yeah, it's awesome, dude. It's cool. So just got to keep knocking. I think that's the theory behind it. Just be hard-headed, I guess.
So you've mentioned during the discussions, you've been to a couple different comic book conventions lately. You mentioned Lafayette.
Uh-huh.
And
Lafayette
I
was
know
great.
that you went to Little Rock.
Little Rock was great.
What, last week? Or
So Lafayette was 2 weeks ago, and then the week before that was Little Rock. And yeah, man, both were awesome, dude. And I'll tell you a funny story. Remember, we were at the bar the other night, me and Pickle, and we were like, you know, just cutting up, chit-chatting, and I started to tell him stuff, and he's like, no, like, wait,
save it for the show.
Save it for Sunday.
Save it for the show.
So, no, dude, so it's another one of those, like, remember I said I had that moment at the Lafayette show last weekend where it was like this surreal kind of sit down, like, wow, like, this is what's going on, like, this is my life kind of thing. I was just watching the crowds go by. I had a little different moment. But I get to Little Rock. I finally get there. It was a beautiful day. We had great weather out in the south that, you know, about 3 weeks ago now. And I pull in, I get my hotel room, and I decide I got a little time. I'm going to go, like, wander around the city a little bit. And they have, like, this museum. And at the museum, there's all kinds of, like, gypsies out there, man. Like, all kinds of gypsies are, like, wandering around. Like, they're on stilts, and they're doing, like, acrobatic stuff like Derek Quick does. Like, you know, like, hanging from the things. And the shit, man, they were giving away free beer. So they had like some, I don't know, some hop, whatever, some autumn special or something like that. I was like, yeah, here, I'll take some of these. And so I'm just kind of enjoying the weather and watching the scene around me. And I look over, and dude, there's the friggin' Black Power Ranger, like out
wow.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was cool. And I didn't want to go up to them because like they're here for the show, so I was just gonna, but I'm watching them, I'm taking pictures. And then like at one point, the Black Power Ranger starts doing like gymnastics with some of the gypsies, man. And I'm just sitting there like, it's like this, like, what is going on? And it was just a surreal moment, like, wow, dude, like this is happening in life right now. Like they're these this just strange, weird event in Little Rock. And then the next night we went out and partied with the Black Power Ranger, dude. We were with the Black Power Ranger, the Red Ranger, and Kino from Ninja Turtles 2, bro, who I was so like shy and too scared to talk to all weekend, man. I was like, because I love Kino, bro, from Ninja Turtles 2. But we ended up hanging out with him, dude, and he was hitting on the girl I was with and stuff like that. It was friggin' incredible. It was awesome. He kept grabbing me and laughing and doing all that kind of stuff. And I told him, I looked over, we can kind of cuss, huh?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So earmuffs, kids. But I look over at him, dude, at one point in the night, man. I'm just like, hey, bro. And he's like, what? And I'm like, dude, fuck JDF, man. I was like, you're my new favorite Power Ranger. You are awesome. So Walter Jones is the man. Black Power Ranger all day. He's my new favorite. I'm sorry, JDF, dude. It had to happen eventually. And Kino, like I said, man, I just got nervous because it was Kino from Ninja Turtles 2. But I did see him Sunday morning. So Sunday morning, dude, he's got these big headphones on, and I'm walking in, and he's like doing like punching moves, like in the hallway. And I just like look over at him, and I just go like this, and he just looks back and gives me that, man. And I was just like, oh, fucking right, dude. So, I don't know. I love Kino from Ninja Turtles 2. I can't speak about it enough. I thought he was so cool. Ernie Reyes Jr. was so friggin' cool, man. So yeah, that was neat. This is cool to be at a bar with these people,
Yeah.
Like, this is going on right now. Like this is even if you were just at any random bar seeing this happen, it was just cool, like cool, weird moment.
How'd they recept to Night Stars and your work?
I don't push nothing on anybody. I don't even play that game, dude. Like,
Well, no, like the crowds over there.
the crowds over
the crowds
there
in general.
Oh no, it was
because
great.
I know, like here, while you do have a lot of new prospects, that find your book,
Right.
a lot of your crowd here knows you personally. They know you from one
It's a
place
little
to another,
different,
to
yes.
where, it's just like a band, to where when a band plays in their home city, they're going to have a full
good.
house.
Good analogy, yeah.
But if they go to Houston or someplace where they're not from, their crowd may be a little bit more sparse. Did they pick up to you well?
Here's the thing with Nice. Yeah, Lafayette, I think, did better, but I guess you could still say that semi-hometown crowd a little bit. But I had a couple people. There was one dude specifically that came up at Lafayette just to buy an issue for his friend because they were just a Night Stars fan. He was like, yeah, he told me I had to come get issue 3 and 4. I was like, yeah, dude, absolutely. The thing about Night Stars and some people came up just because it was WWE or Ghostbusters or whatever. People came up for those reasons, and I'd always be like, hey, you want to hear about Night Stars? That's the thing about Night Stars, man, is if I can, it's telling you what it is. It's how do you let people know what this property is? You know what I'm saying? So that is the trick about it.
Teaser.
So there's always a point. So I have like a nice little pitch that I do, called an elevator pitch. Really brief, minute tops, something like that. There's always this moment, and there's two moments. There's either when I say they're the Roswell aliens, when I'm kind of telling you in the beginning, and then there's a point where I tell them about Amelia Earhart and the Yeti and like vampires and stuff like that. And there are these two moments where I can see, and I'll know like, yeah, these people are going to buy books right now, or like they're sold. And usually, dude, good bunch of the time, man, they snag it. So how do you translate that into everything else?
Right.
Like how do you translate that into like a Facebook post or Instagram? Or I think we're going to do another video soon, another trailer, because we haven't done anything like that in a while. So that's most likely what's coming next, because we talked about that on the phone the other day too. So Night Stars, I feel very confident in Night Stars. I feel very comfortable with Night Stars and the reception it gets. Dude, in New York, though, nobody knows me in New York, and we kill in New York. Like, they love people.
Yeah.
Somebody messaged me the other day, and I feel bad because I got a messenger back, like, asking if we're going up there this year. Unfortunately, we're not. I I have a feeling we'll be back. We were gonna go to Shanghai, and there was all kinds of stuff. But
Yeah, I remember a few months ago you saying that y'all were looking into possibly hitting the Shanghai Comic-Con.
Yeah, that's just a. Look, man. Going to New York on a whim, kind of, is a little different than going to Shanghai
going
on a
to
whim.
Shanghai where it's a 24-hour flight.
Right. That was apparent very early. And it's also, everybody that we go to New York Comic-Con is based in New York almost. I'm the only one that has to get a hotel room or whatever. So they're just driving in. Dude, that was going to be much more planning was needed for the Shanghai trip. But I saw a Jordan commercial last night on YouTube, like a Jordan brand commercial, and it was all taking place in China. So everything's going over there, man. Like, maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but it is. Like, a lot of business is going over there. So the China connection is not done with whatsoever. But yeah, we didn't make it to Shanghai Comic-Con this year.
One I know that you'd mentioned that you are going to be going to is Biloxi.
Yeah, man.
In a couple weeks. Is that CoastCon?
No, so that's a Wizard show. I was in Little Rock and they were talking about the Biloxi show. Or man, I might not have. No, I was in Little Rock and they were talking about the Biloxi show, and so I have connections with them. So I messaged them and I got onto the Biloxi show. I figure it's only what is it, a 45-minute drive from here? It's not that long a drive.
It's not a bad drive. It's an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, man.
Tops.
So for that. Absolutely, dude. I actually love Biloxi. I love Bay St. Louis. I love Biloxi. I love Mississippi. They're the only people dumber than us. You know what I mean? Like, we're the only people worse on the, like, we're 1 and 2, at the bottom of the friggin' school scale.
The schools.
Yeah, but
obesity and everything else.
I love Mississippi. I really do. We had camps in Bay St. Louis growing up, so I spent a ton of time there, and I love it. So I'm glad to go to Biloxi. I'm all about it. I think that'll be a blast.
Do you have any other cons that you're looking at possibly going to?
No, not at the moment. But things have opened up, and I'm planning on doing more. And we're probably going to also do a Barnes & Noble's tour. So whatever one of those comes up first, whether it's going to be going on Barnes & Noble's trips or going to different Comic Cons, I'll be doing more traveling in the future for sure, which I enjoy, which is cool to kind of get out and see. Man, dude, we have such like a big country. When you drive, you realize how much open area there is. It's unbelievable, man. Like we're basically in a metro area right now. And Little Rock really wasn't that big a place, but the trip to get there, I had to go like up through Mississippi and then through Arkansas, and it was just like small town, like country roads and stuff. It was crazy, man. Dude, I went off. I had my GPS like went out on me, and I missed a turn, and it was telling me to like drive through a cornfield. And I was kind of debating it. I was like, man, I was like, this is a real road. I could see like tire tracks and stuff, but it was like giving me like it was, like it was a real road. And I debated it for a second. I was just like, absolutely, dude. I've never driven through a cornfield in my life, so I was flying, man. I'm like bouncing in my car, bouncing off the rush. I wish I had a truck. So that was cool. But yeah, dude, it's just amazing how. I don't know. You just got these little small towns everywhere throughout the country, and you just don't realize it. I think you forget about it. It's amazing, man. Like, and they'll tell you the population a lot of times.
Yeah, to where it's like 1,000.
Yeah, man.
2,000.
I mean, Lafayette wasn't that big, but Lafayette kind of has that. It feels
still has
like
that
Louisiana.
small town.
Yeah, it still has that small town feel, but not that small. But some of these other ones were, and Texas too, dude. Texas is just once you get past like
Houston, really,
San Antonio. San Antonio, I didn't pass through there, but Houston. Dude, it's just mountains and open fields and open land. When you get into New Mexico, it's just desert for miles and miles. And it's a little scary. It's a little intimidating. Maybe not for people that have been out in those situations, but if you grew up in a city your whole life, it's like, wow, man, this is nuts. Like, what do you do out here?
You don't think of there being literally just desert and maybe 200 people living in a little fucking town,
right, man. And I just think about logistically, like how do you operate? Like, do you? What store do you go to? Like, where do you go get this? Where do you go get that? I guess you just got to plan ahead. Ranches, a lot of ranches in Texas and New Mexico as well. Tons of ranches. Giant, like they had these giant big like windmill things, like wind conductors. I mean, massive, huge. So I got a bunch of cool pictures of those just for myself, like on my phone. I like taking those pictures just to remember a trip. One day I'll dig through my computer and see them, I guess. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's just perspective. Everything's perspective, So yeah, dude, you got a couple little spots in Texas, and then you got empty area.
Yes, I remember driving to the northeast corner of New Mexico
Oh,
with
wow.
scouts. And, yeah, once you get past Houston and, really, like you said, like San Antonio
It's
and
nothing.
yeah, it's just cows.
It's honestly, and my buddy said this because my buddy knew I was on trips, so he called me on the phone, but he was like, basically, towns are set up in the space of a tank of gas.
Yes.
That's really what it is, dude. Like, you're
Yeah.
going to have nothing, so when you're in one of those towns, like, fill up, even if
better
you're kind of
stop and
low.
get
Right,
gas.
get gas. And that's what Abilene was. Like, it was almost like a tank of gas, and boom, I was in Abilene. And Abilene was great, sweet, sweet Abilene. I stayed there for 2 nights. I enjoyed it there. But yeah, man, it's crazy. And that was a small town. But I love Whataburger. So once I hit Texas, dude, I'm
Very
dude,
first stop,
dude,
Whataburger.
I'm friggin' just pigging out on Whataburger, dude. Lafayette, I made sure I got Whataburger on the way home. Oh God, it's the best, dude.
Wait,
So
do they
good.
have Whataburgers in Lafayette or in Baton Rouge? I know.
Where did I
Didn't
go
they
eat
have
it?
one
I
in-
went out to eat in Lafayette with some friends. And Nicola Branch was one of them, dude. Me and Nicola Branch went out and partied, dude. And I go nuts when I'm around her, man. I cut up with her. She's a trip.
Yeah, I saw she posted something it was either Lafayette or at Little Rock where she said, "I'm raiding your booth right now."
Right. And then and we did a live art. I'm out with a few people, and we did a live art thing, which was cool because they had an after party for the AVC show. So when we met the Power Rangers, that was one after party, and then we went to another one in Lafayette, and that's kind of cool. Like the DJs talking, saying stuff. My boy Hernandez, and yeah, man, it was cool, dude. It's a cool feeling. And this would go with anything in life. I would assume. I know it does. But like you work and you work and you work. And like I said, last year I sat in my room and I promise you, man, I did nothing, dude. Like it was borderline maddening. And this is kind of your reward, like that was all that hard work. You put in so much work, and then you kind of get rewarded at these shows where they're taking care of you and it's fun and like people know who you are. If they don't know who you are, they know the projects you're working on, which is just as good. So now that I'm sitting back down again, that's in the back of my head, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, I'm gonna go even harder now, just because now that I've tasted it, like I've had a taste of a little bit of this, I want more of it. I want more of it now. So that's why I'm gonna be up all night, bro, drawing Plants vs Zombies, dude. I don't care. I put on motivational videos, dude. I've been watching like Kobe videos all week and stuff like that, dude. I love Kobe Bryant.
There's been several times where you've sent me motivation videos. Like you sent me the Mick giving Rocky the fucking
dude.
the pump up speech like before like the Mr. T fight.
Right.
You know,
Oh
like-
man, yeah, dude. So
Go out there and give him hell, Rock.
oh man, it's so good. So our buddy Maggio, out of Maggio, he just passed his nursing exam.
Yeah,
And
that
so
was-
all that time, like, he'd be studying, he'd be like, dude, send me a video. So I'll send him a motivational video. And like right before his nursing, he did this to me like a couple weeks beforehand, but I did it back to him. We'll send like the Adrian in the bed, and what do you want me to do? And she's like, when, like that moment. And they're like, what are we waiting for? So there is not much more motivational than like a Rocky movie or
Yeah.
Creed, dude. The Creed movie was rolling. I thought it was gonna suck, and I friggin' love the Creed movie. Love it. The score is outstanding. Outstanding
Yeah, I
score.
haven't seen the Creed movie yet.
Dude,
but-
if you don't like Creed, you're not an American. You know what I mean? Like it's so good. It's just a great film. And the new movie is going to have Drago in it, apparently. Ivan Drago is going to
I
be in
saw
Creed
something
too,
about
man.
that. Yes.
So every year before New York, I'd either watch Creed. I would watch 2 movies, Creed and then Whiplash. If you haven't seen Whiplash, it's about a musician, a jazz drummer in New York City and that whole competitive scene. And it is just about him just busting ass, like bleeding while he's playing the drums. And the guy from J. Jonah Jameson is his music teacher, just screaming at him, yelling at him, berating him. And it's all about just like, it's kind of like Shawshank Redemption. Like you got to crawl through shit to eventually reach your desired destination,
Yeah.
man. So those are great motivational films, dude, It's all about Charlie Parker. If you know who Charlie Parker is, this jazz musician, Bird Parker. Oh, it's so cool, man. Highly recommend it. I'll pump other people's stuff more. Dude. I'm just like, dude, whatever. Forget Night. Go watch Whiplash, man. It's so good. And Creed. Creed's the shit.
So when can we expect to see the Plants vs. Zombies and WWE? And
WWE's coming out. WWE number 10 might be out already. I don't know. Because they came out quick. So 7 and 8 are already out. You can go pick those up now. You can get them from the website, from boomstudios.com. Boom with a exclamation point. Plants vs. Zombies, that's, again, I will be doing page 7 tonight. So we're not seeing this one probably for another year. Not a year, but a little less than that. But Battle Extravaganza just came out, man, probably not even, only a few months ago, you know? So you can go get the last Plants vs. Zombies books, and that'll be at any Barnes & Nobles. That'll be at any, you should be able to get it if your kids are in school. It should be in Scholastic book order. That one should not be hard to find. It's everywhere. What else we got? Ghostbusters. Honestly, those are a little harder to find, man. You might have to go online to get those 101s that I did. They're tough to get. Nicola Brandt, she couldn't get the number one I did.
Oh,
so I told her,
the one that you did the cover and like story like 3 in.
No. That was the annual. This is 101 when they first meet the girl. So it's Holtzman and Egon on the cover. And she couldn't get her hands on those, so they give me some comps, and I give her enough hell at shows and stuff, so I'm like, I'll just give you one of my comps, like, no big deal. But yeah, if you go online, you might have to go on eBay, but you might be able to get them off the website, IDW Publishing website or something like that. They're available, and I would assume, I don't know, they'll send you an email with a PDF, like a breakdown. Like, so we get the issues digitally before everybody else does, and it's really to check your name and to make sure there's no mistakes. Like, you basically got to proofread it. So I'll let y'all know when the trade paperback comes out, which I'm sure will be this year. And I'm sure it's coming soon. The trade paperback's probably right around the corner, which that'll be cool, and you'll be able to get that at Barnes & Nobles or whatever.
So I know I've asked you this question on past interviews.
Okay.
But I want to get your take on it fast forwarding to today. You know, one of the things that's always come into kind of contention over the past few years with the comic book world is there's so many comics that are going to a Comixology or, you know, like a Kindle style online versus paper copy. Do you see the paper still continuing to strive?
I have very, very serious views on this, and I don't think they've changed at all, to be honest. Couple things. When you go buy a CD, time out. When was the last time you bought a CD?
9 times out of 10, it's when I see a local band
at a live show, right?
You know, and it's like, hey, you know, our CD is $5. Okay, here's $5.
Right.
Thanks.
And I do too. To Whom It May bought their CD at Southport months ago. It's still in my CD player in my car because I don't. Now I'll listen to it every now and again. And it rocks. They're awesome. Go check them. To Whom It May. Go check them out. They friggin' rock. They're from Galveston, I think. No, but you're gonna get it off your phone. You're gonna get all my music is on Spotify. I had already switched from comics to mostly digital anyway. I was getting Marvel Unlimited, and then I switched and went to Comixology Unlimited. It's just easier for me, dude. I love comic shops, but I just think that when you were doing them before, man, it was just a different time period. You know, you had serials, you had periodicals, you had newspaper strips were coming out. You'd get those once a week, and it just made sense. The timeline was just different then. We're in a different world. People want stuff now. People want stuff immediately. I don't want to read. I look at comic books like with Night Stars. I don't want to read one chapter of a book and then wait a month to get the next chapter, you know?
Right.
So with Volume 2...
even the same thing with TV shows, you know?
TV
it's like
shows,
how many people didn't watch, you know, the Game of Thrones or Breaking Bads or, you know, name one of these popular TV shows. You know, they don't watch it during the season. They wait until it's all out, and then they binge watch the shit.
I'm one of those people, man. I just wait for the binge. A lot of TV shows, and I don't watch too much TV anymore, but when I did, I'd wait 10 episodes, and then I'd catch up on Arrow or something like that, because I wouldn't have to be waiting for it. So comics is always kind of behind everybody else on the technology scale or the changing of the time scale. Music is always ahead of everybody. So if you want to see what's going to happen with comics, in my opinion, you can look at music. Now that also goes with how you create the comics because, dude, I'm almost exclusively digital now. And unless I'm doing something like a Ghostbuster cover where I know I can sell it, dude, I'd rather just sit in my recliner and listen to music in the living room than have to sit at a table. You know what I mean? You got the
with
light
a perfect
set up,
light,
all this stuff
yeah.
that goes on. We were outside earlier, and I was talking about how nice the weather was. It's probably even better now. Dude, I'm just going to go sit on my back porch. I'm going to jam some tunes and enjoy like a nice breeze, which I can't do if I'm doing it traditionally. So everything's just changing. Kids are going to be doing it differently now. So kids that are drawing today are going to start messing around on computers and stuff like that. The only difference would be Barnes and Nobles, because I think Barnes and Nobles if you go into Barnes and Nobles, it's basically become a giant comic book shop. You can get pop vinyls, you can get toys.
Yeah, you can buy magic cards over there.
You can get magic cards. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of stuff that is in there. And I'll go draw at a Barnes and Nobles when I'm not, just to get out the house sometimes. Maybe just for like a couple hours or something like that. I don't usually last that long. But I'll sit in the comic book section and I'll see it, dude. I'll see people coming in that aren't going in. I don't see these same people in comic shops. It's a different crowd of people. So that's why I'm making Michael DeChester and I are making a big push to put Night Stars into Barnes and Nobles because it's a different. That Night Stars is a lot of the Harry Potter, Doctor Who kind of crowd. And those people are at Barnes and Nobles, man. It's those young girls, those tween girls, or boys too. It's an all ages thing, but that seems to be like the main demographic. So yeah, I just think it's changing, and you evolve or die, man. You know what I mean? You got to go with the times. If there's new products coming out for podcasting or whatever, are you going to disregard them and not use them?
No, I mean you've got to change with the times.
Right.
That's why we've been doing video. That's why we try to add different elements into the show because it's like, hey, I mean, this is the hot trend that people are looking for at this time. Whether you want to get left in the dust or not, that's it.
Also, y'all had a great setup before where you go to the website and press play. I'd do that. I'd clean the house. I'd run around. You know what I mean? I'd have it on in the background and stuff like that. But I get alerts on my phone now on YouTube. You know what I mean? It's just a different animal, and everybody's going to YouTube. So that's another thing, That's why I started making those videos and stuff like that. I haven't made that many. I made one for the Wildcat and one for a Ghostbuster thing, and I got a bunch of videos of stuff I never had an opportunity to sit down and make. But dude, I watch more YouTube than I watch TV. I don't even need TV anymore. I just watch YouTube.
Yeah, I haven't had
cable's going to be
cable.
transitioning too.
Yeah, I haven't had pay cable in 2 or 3 years now.
Right.
And
yeah, me neither. Right.
I use an antenna to watch a little bit of over-air TV, but most of my stuff is YouTube just online content.
And it's, look, man, my buddy, I'm gonna give a shout out to my man. My buddy Tim Stoddard owns a comic book shop on the North Shore in Slidell called Showcase, and his son has a show on YouTube. Please go look it up. It's called, his name is Beast Kid 123. Beast Kid -123. Man, he might be like 11. You know what I mean? He's so young. But he is so funny, dude. And it's called Comics Talk. And it's just, man, imagine if you had videos of yourself as like a child where you could, it really is like watching you as a kid, like playing. And man, I'll watch some Beast Kid 123 videos every now and again, like telling you the history of Ghost Rider or how much
cool.
Squirrel Girl sucks or something like that. It's awesome, man. It's so funny, dude. He made his brother drink like a Pepsi from like 5 years ago the other day. Like I was cracking up laughing, man. But people are creating their own content and going to these other places. So I think that's going to hurt industry a little bit, but it also evens out things as well. You know what I mean? Like it makes it an even playing field where, hey, we're all on Comixology now. Like you're still, how are you going to compete with people like a Batman or an X-Men or something like that are established, but with everybody else?
Yeah, but you're not forcing them to be like, oh, you want to read my comic book, you need to go find it at a comic book store. You have the availability to tell them, hey, go check it out on Comixology.
Right.
couple bucks download on there.
Well, here's the other thing with that, though, too. So if you go into a comic shop, and this is no fault of the comic shops, but, dude, DC and Marvel just pump out books to flood the market. That's why you're going to have, 5, 10 Batman books, X-Men books, and stuff like that, Spider-Man books. And what happens is, if you're a comic shop owner, you have to... Dude, that is a tough business as well, being a comic shop owner. And you got to put up books that you know are going to sell. So they're less likely to take a chance on a
Night Stars or...
And look, dude, locally, we've actually done great. BSI, Jason at BSI is always hitting me up. He's like, dude, can I get some more Night Stars books? He's like, you mad at me? And I'm like, no, dude, I don't have any. I don't have any to bring.
Yeah.
So we do good locally, honestly. We do great. But, again, how much is that hometown band or hometown whatever artist whatever I don't know. But anyway, they have to fill their shelves with stuff that they know they're going to sell, so you're not going to be able to get stuff from other places. If you go online, though, again, you might be, if you're on Comixology Unlimited, man, maybe I will read Courtney Crumrin, or maybe I will read Gloom Cookie or whatever, some book that I normally wouldn't read otherwise. I'll give this a shot. And that might lead you down a whole nother path. It might introduce you creators you never would have thought about before, never would have seen before. So I think it's a good thing. Spotify, it's the same thing. Dude, I listen to bands that I never would have found in a million years, dude. Just listening hey, this is my favorite band. Let me play that radio station. And then I find another favorite band.
Radio is even getting to be rough, I mean...
Does anybody listen to radio? Not this, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah. I mean, there's some, it's I'll listen to a little bit of, mostly talk radio just to find out, hey, what's the weather today? Is there traffic on my way to work? But once I hear that, I'm immediately turning on, a podcast or something, music that I have on my phone.
Right. Yeah, dude, that's, same thing. I don't, unless it's breaking at that moment, I don't necessarily need it. I can get it somewhere else. And dude, same with news, Dude, with anything, man, I'm living off of YouTube. I watch documentaries. I watch stuff on people building and repairing toys. I watch this show called Retro Blasting, which is unbelievable, man. And they'll tell you how to rebuild a TIE fighter. They'll tell you how to make the colors white again and stuff like that. It's called retro brighting. So I'm about to get serious, dude. With rebuilding
I was
some Star Wars
actually going
figures.
to mention the toy fanaticism, shall we call it? Because
y'all don't even know, man.
I mean, as you know, I collect all the Ghostbusters figurines. In fact, right before I showed you, unfortunately, it's not mine. It's a birthday present for a friend of mine.
Beautiful figure.
The Marshmallow Winston Zedmore from Ghostbusters. But you collect a lot of old school, 80s and 90s toys that we grew up playing with as kids,
Yeah. Oh, if y'all saw my office, man, you'd crack up, dude. You would think it's like some kid's playroom or something like that, Czar would probably have a field day with that comment, but no, dude. Okay, so the little kids when that same story I brought up this weekend from Lafayette, that moment of wow, this is going on. You see yourself in them, and I surround myself with these toys and stuff like that because that's why I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? That's
yeah, that was your inspiration into
man.
liking comic books. As
I'm
a child,
not
with
here
Star Wars
if it wasn't for
He-Man
Dick Tracy toys or dude. I wonder this all the time, and I don't know for sure, but He-Man used to have comic books in the toy packaging, and I'm wondering how much of that played a factor in why I'm doing this today. Dick Tracy on the back of everyone. Now, Chester Gould created Dick Tracy back in the day, and it was a comic book strip in the newspapers and stuff like that. But on the back of those toys was a comic book, Ninja Turtles was a comic book. It's funny, when you find out the history of these things, and Retro Blasting's a great place to find that, and other sites, you realize that it all kind of goes to this core of comic books, everything kind of stems from this one. Honestly, almost everything stems from Kirby, Jack Kirby. He's kind of the force of a lot of these things. And so yeah, dude. So I think I just have look. I don't sit on the. I know it's like a disclaimer. I don't sit on the floor and play with them. I wish I could. I wish I still. You ever seen Step Brothers? And they talk about don't lose your dinosaur. I wish I still had my dinosaur and I could sit there and play with the friggin' things. I can't. It's weird. I get bored. If I ever did try, I'd get bored, and I have. But yeah, dude, I'm obsessed with certain stuff. So right now, I'm really into vintage Star Wars stuff. I I really want to get into like Ewok. In 1985, they had an Ewok series that went with the cartoon. I'm really interested in those right now. There's an old toy series from way back in the day called Sectars about bugs, like giant. They're almost the size of like Barbies. I'm into those. Like I'm collecting a few of those. But I still collect new stuff too. Like I buy a bunch of those reaction figures. I got every single Terminator reaction figure. Opened 3 of them, and then I sat there and I'm like, what am I gonna do with these, man? You know, like so I'm just hanging them on my wall now.
You said opening them. That's one of the qualms that I have with my figures.
Okay.
It's whether or not I want to open them, and you know, it's almost like 40-year-old virgin-esque to where he's like, no, it'll decrease in value, blah blah blah. It's still in the case, and it's like, well, yeah, I know that the minute that I open up one of these Ghostbusters figures, they've all got 20 different hands and shit. I'm going to lose half of the hands, you know?
I only got one and I opened it. I had Janine and I opened it. But I will say this. Comic books, toys, stuff like baseball cards, stuff like that. The things that are expensive are from way back in the day, dude. So honestly, stuff like that, how many people you think buy those toys and don't open them?
Oh yeah, I know those.
Free them, dude. Free those dudes, man. Build that Ghostbuster thing, dude. I want to see it, man. So even if I have a shelf of Star Wars figures, new and old, man, going back to like. So they re-released Power of the Force 2 was in like 96, 95. Man, I got a good. So that would be 20 years now. I got a good 20-year run of current Star Wars figures. I guess not vintage. I got a giant shelf full of those. I got a bunch of Batman the Animated Series, Justice League. I got a giant shelf full. I actually don't have room to put all this stuff. I don't know where I'm going to put everything. Disney Infinity. I went friggin' insane. I got so many Disney Infinity figures.
The little stamp figure.
Dude, I don't even play with the friggin' game, dude, but the figures were just so gorgeous, man. So when I did that Star Wars piece the other day, the Force Awakens piece, I pulled out the Disney Infinity figures, and those were like kind of like my models. Like I wanted them to look Infinity-esque. And believe it or not, those figures are still sitting on my coffee table. I just never moved them. I got to knock them out the way every now and then. I got to push Ray out the way. Fiddle around with Luke or something like that. But and Bagnetto's the same way, dude. Me and Bagnetto were out for Force Friday. They have it's like this, man. Like Force Friday came around where all the new toys come out for the new movies every year.
Yes.
And it always falls right around on my birthday. The first Force Friday fell on my birthday. So that was kind of like a cool special thing. Me and Fletch Boogie went out. Old Adam Santino's with us for a little bit. Dude, I'll buy the figures, open them up, put them on the shelf, never touch them again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've got a friend who's got the entire collection of the new edition Disney Star Wars figures.
Okay. But they're really not worth anything because there's enough people collecting them.
Right, because the market is so flooded.
Dude, if I ever had kids...
There's a few of them, just like with any figurine set. There's a few of them that are wall figures, as the comic book store would call them.
They got chase figures, which is another issue that I have issues with because... So... Look, bro, I'm on the hunt, dude. So I'm at Walmart when they're opening up the boxes. Like, I'm talking to the employees. I just like the hunt of it. I like the hunt of going and getting the stuff. That's more fun than actually, looking at it on the shelf every blue moon. So in a case, which is 4 boxes, like about that, probably about 6 to 8 figures in each box. Dude, in a case, you're only getting like 1 or 2 Rays, 1 Luke. The figures that every kid should have are not in abundance, and then the figures that nobody wants.
Right, yeah.
There's a million of them,
the Nim-Num, or,
whatever.
A minor character within one of the movies.
So
there's 100 of them.
Right, and I think they should do it in reverse, because I don't think that's fair, even though I had no problem buying them from me and Mark Bagnetto. We got our Luke and Rays. But, some kid's gonna
Get
he's
stuck
screwed
playing,
over, dude.
Right. He's stuck playing with just Lando and Nim-Num.
While 2 adults have all the friggin' Luke and Ray figures, So I think they should do it in reverse and make those random Nin-Nub or whatever. Make those the chase figures, man. But yeah, dude, it's fun to go get them. I bought more from Mark than I bought for myself. I only wanted Ray and Luke. That's just the hunt, man. I just like it, and it reminds you of being a kid.
Yeah.
And that's... comics, a lot of times people want to make comics into like other things and make it about more and other stuff, whatever. You know, people try to put their own stuff in there. I think it should be more about kids at the end of the day, man, than it should be about whatever else. You know, especially Marvel and DC. I think it should always stay focused on that fantasy, that power within you of being like something else or being more than what you are. Like Shazam's a great example of that. Peter Parker's a great example. He's this wimpy, nerdy kid. That's who you are reading the book. You know, he gets bit
all
by
of a sudden
something.
he gets bit by a spider and he's got superpowers.
He's got superpowers, and it's like what was within him was always there, but now he can act out upon it. Shazam's great about that because it is a little boy that becomes a grown man. And there's a big theory that is what comics are. They're kind of role play for it's young women now, but originally it was young men. Clark Kent's the same thing. There are always these nerdy, goofy characters that become these
superheroes,
larger than life.
right?
Yeah, you know, these
Just
grandiose, you know.
Yeah, just by some random whim.
Right. A turn of events, we could all be that person. You could get the X gene is flowing inside you. You know, you got laser eyes now, or claws. You know, hopefully something that doesn't suck like Rogue. You know, but something cool.
I can touch you and you'll die.
Right. Yeah. No, what a gift. And they have a great comic about that, a Rogue comic where she like makes out with her boyfriend and her powers manifest on some bayou in Mississippi, man, like in the 90s, and she kills him. And every year she goes back and sees him in the hospital bed. Well, she doesn't kill him. He's in a coma, and she goes and sees him every year in the hospital bed. It's a Rogue miniseries from the 90s, and it's awesome, dude.
And just when he starts to come out of it, she kisses him again.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he wakes up, and she's so excited. She gives him a hug, and he's in another coma. Her parents hate him even more. Great series, man. Mike Waringo drew it. It's so good. So, yeah, man, keep it pure, dude. Carry on tradition. Carry on tradition with these books. They're so important, man. You can learn so much from them. They're almost like fables. Like you hear like fables and stories. I remember hearing a bunch of them back when you were a kid, or Grimm's fairy tales and stuff like that. Like you're learning something within these things. I think they can be fun and they can be for adults as well. But I think they should always have those, dude. I've had this conversation with Buck Lightning, dude. A lot of our morality, a lot of like who. How we think as adults came from those characters.
Yeah,
coming
from the storylines and the virtues that those characters had.
Dude, they stood for so much. And you can go, and I can make this argument all day, up and down. The most important people in the DC universe. Who would you think the most important people are in the DC universe?
In DC, I'd say probably like Superman, Batman, the Justice League guys, for the most part, I'm
going to say this, dude. I think it's Ma and Pa Kent. And I think that homegrown, country, simple, humble lifestyle that they implemented into Clark, and he's he's kind of the quintessential superhero for everybody else that everybody kind of molds themselves after. So Ma and Pa Kent, if he had been raised by like horrible parents, everything could change, So yeah, they're the most. I think they're the most important people in the DC universe, man. That good upbringing he got in Smallville,
even quite possibly in the comic book world.
Very, very, very likely. When you go to Marvel, they started Stan Lee and Kirby. They started giving a little bit of feet of clay and a little bit more like reality based, but that morality never changed. You know what I mean? Spider-Man knows right from wrong, even though he had to learn it the hard way. Captain America is basically Superman that can't fly, more or less the same thing. He is the Boy Scout, All-American.
He's the Eagle Scout, All-American.
Right, man.
Former soldier.
So, me personally, I don't want to lose that in these characters because it made such an effect on my life. Now, trust me, I'm no Boy Scout by any stretch of the imagination, dude, but it played a factor. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, yeah, that's what I mean when I say carry on tradition. I would like to see more of that. Like, just stop worrying about nonsense and just worry about the core of who these characters are, what make them good. And I think that resonates with people. My buddy Vernon was telling me one time, because I love Superman Returns, bro. People hate that movie. I love it. I might watch it tonight. It was like this weird moment where his daughter just knew who Superman was. It was like this thing that she just knew who Superman was. And I'm like, dude, did you ever really introduce her to him? And he's like, not really. We're talking about a young girl here. And it's funny how these people become our, I don't know what you want to call them. You know what I mean? Like there are John Henrys. There are, whatever, dude. It's really amazing. Like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, like these people are ingrained in our psyche now.
Yeah, well, especially now with
in our culture.
all of the movies, and I mean, Disney has intellectual property on the Marvel guys to where, I mean, not only with the movies, but I know they're starting to implement more and more of that into their theme parks and I guess their general advertising.
Big time. Yeah, it's really amazing to see. I don't know. I feel like we grew up in kind of a golden age of comics. I don't know if I'd want to be in this age because it was really cool at the time. You had some of the best stuff ever when we were kids. But yeah, man. Hey, you never had a girl at a Comic-Con, You don't see stuff like that often. It'd be a bunch of smelly dudes with long boxes digging through books. The cosplay phenomenon that didn't exist like it does now.
Yeah, when I would go to Comic-Cons in the heyday, I was going for the baseball side of things.
Right.
I was a big baseball card collector, and yeah, it wasn't like comic conventions of today. To where it's more like an event, to where
That's unreal.
Most of the comic conventions that we went to as kids, they were literally just a bunch of sales guys with long boxes.
And you necessarily wouldn't meet I never met many artists when I was younger. I remember meeting some local artists and stuff like that, but mostly you were just going to see what kind of deals they had and stuff.
Yeah.
But there are legendary stories, and this is another thing about carrying on tradition. This goes a little bit, we were talking outside about some stuff. There are amazing stories I've heard over and over again about Jack Kirby, about how he was with fans and how he treated fans, and he had time for everybody. He never thought a question was stupid, always shook their hands. I actually heard that he stood up because his fans were standing, so he felt he would stand and stuff like that. That's another thing about carry on tradition, man. When somebody comes up to you, when you draw like a Ghostbusters or you draw WWE or Plants vs. Zombies, dude, in a sense, you become an ambassador for it. And that's something I wasn't aware of. The Ghostbuster community is unbelievable group of fans. I had a dude from Russia, the fan group in Russia, hit me up about Plants vs. Zombies. They want me to join a Russian fan group, and I got on my Google Translate. I had to translate the friggin' message.
Yeah.
So, dude,
that's sure that they weren't like, "How dare you make the plot line like that?"
Right. Yeah, they're coming to get me, man. The Kremlin. But yeah, dude. So again, carry on tradition. That's what I'm saying about that. I don't know. Look back at think about how Kirby treated people or somebody. Don't be rude to fans and stuff like that or whatever. And always, it's about the kids. Again, be cool with the kids, man. Let them and it benefits you in the long run too because you want them coming back. You want them to be involved in this whole thing, this thing that it's become in the last decade or whatever it's been. It's really unbelievable where it came from.
Yeah, the world of comics is becoming an exciting adventure.
Yeah, man,
not
cool,
just the
dude.
Superheroes, but for all the fans now.
Yeah, dude, and they're all over the map, man. Look, I was even debating doing Wizard World this year in New Orleans. I mean, I'm gonna do it. But I was debating not doing it and maybe just doing other shows and stuff like that. But there's one little girl. I say little girl. She's probably about 13, maybe 14, something like that. And, dude, every year, man, she comes back. Yeah, you got a new Night Stars issue? You got a new Night Stars issue? Every year, dude. And, I don't know, bro. It's the coolest thing in the world, man. There's no better feeling than something like that.
Yeah, having someone come out
dude,
and find you.
It's so hard to explain. It's so cool. And I have no affiliation with this girl, and I'm always like,
it's not like a cousin.
Right, man. I'm like, get the like page on Facebook. She's like, oh, I don't have Facebook. I'm like, man. I was like, you are the next generation,
Yeah.
Where the kids don't even want Facebook. So I doubt she'll see this, but if she does, I will have a nice package of stuff for her this year, man. Just as a thank you. She came up to me last year. I gave her issue 3, and she was like, yeah. She came up the next day. She's like, is issue 4 out yet? I was like, man, what do you think? I went and drew and wrote it last night? Where do you think it comes from? The sky?
Went to Kinko's, photocopied it.
Yeah, just finished it. Just finished it this morning, on the way here. So, but I'd see her throughout the show. I'd be messing with her and stuff like that, man. So I'm make sure stuff I personally appreciate that. I personally appreciate like we were talking about earlier, what y'all have done for the show and friends and family and people like that, dude. That's if you got to go draw for another 5 hours tonight or whatever it is, however long it's going to take, those are your There's this guy, motivational speaker. His name's Eric Thomas. E.T. the hip hop preacher. Go look it up, bro. Watch it in the morning, like before you go to work. It'll get you hyped up. And he's always talking about you got to have a why, man. You got to have a why. Like, why do you do this? Why are you working to do this? And if it's money or something like that, that might not really be like a great motivation. That might not be like the real thing that gets you going. But stuff like that, dude. Like my friends and family that supported me, and random girl at a Comic-Con, that comes up every year, dude. I'm just like, she's gonna have that damn issue next year. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna give it to her, dude. I'm gonna give her a t-shirt. I'm gonna give her all kinds of stuff, dude, just because I appreciated it. Yeah, man. Dude, that stuff will motivate you. I'm telling you. I'd love to talk to like band people, and I talk to Dave Latino about that kind of stuff all the time. Like, what is his, is it the same thing for them? Is it the same thing for other people in other mediums, other art forms and stuff? But yeah, that's my why, dude. I love it.
Yeah,
it's such a good feeling.
So, Lattie, where can people check out your artwork?
If you go to lattieinc.com, LATTIEINK.com, you can find everything on there. You'd be able to go to my Twitter. Everything's going to be Team Lattie, TEAM, LATTIE. And Night Stars on Facebook. I post a lot on Instagram pretty often. And once I get my bearings, I'll be posting a lot more. I'm going to do a bunch of just fun commissions, dude. You ever saw Ewok Adventure? I'm doing an Ewok Adventure print, which, everybody's clamoring for, I'm sure. But I got to get it out my system.
Yup, nope.
Right, yeah. It's going to be rolling. So, yeah, lattieinc.com is your hub, your source. You can get the books there. You can get prints there. You can get the cool T-shirts we got out now. So, yeah, we'd love the support, man. INK, not INC. LATTIEINK.com.
So, again, always thank you for coming on.
Thank you, sir.
I always love having you on. The czar used to always joke about it that when I'd have you on, I'd get giddy.
Right.
And it's true. I mean, you are easily one of my favorite guests that I always get. That's why you're always welcome.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, man. Nah, dude, do you keep talking like that, you're going to find yourself in more WWE comics, keep buttering it up, man.
So, again, thank you, Tim. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more of The Scoop.